just like missing stuff for you guys like hot taking here?
No,
The Kid
definitely
and
not.
Keegan-Michael Key.
The Kid is not, dude. How long have we had this show? We're going on 70 episodes here.
It's still a hot
If you
take.
don't know that I'm, if you don't
It's
know
still
that
a
I'm
hot
bagging on
take.
kid actors, you got a real
It's still a
problem.
hot
Episode
You haven't
1, you
listened.
attack the kids.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Untitled Film Project Podcast. Watch the movie, then let's talk about it. Today it's Wonka. Willy Wonka has dreams, only to find the city is run by a greedy chocolate cartel that likes the confection industry without him. We'll also answer the big question, since this is another remake and it is a musical.
Wait, is it a remake?
I mean, no, it's not.
Okay.
It's in the.
We
you're
want
right.
to make sure our audience understands this is not a remake because I think they did a poor job
It's
of
in the
marketing
universe.
that.
You're right. You're right.
So-
It's in the
Prequel,
universe.
though.
It is a prequel, but it's
a
not a
prequel.
remake.
All
They're
right.
very different things.
True.
So,
So I stand corrected.
okay, just making sure.
So for our big question, I want to say, what movie that has already come out would you do another, but make it a musical?
So it can't have been a musical before.
It was not a musical
You're not
before.
remaking Hairspray,
but you're
you're
putting-
remaking Tommy Boy.
Yes.
Is what you're saying. Okay.
Tommy
got it.
Boy the musical.
No, please.
Black Sheep?
In fairness, I should have gotten more obscure. But I'm glad you're not there.
Plane.
I love it.
The musical. 65. The musical.
Gonna land this plane. And
Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre. The musical.
you can see how fun this is
Zone
gonna
of
be.
Interest, the musical.
Whoa.
All
Let's
right.
calm down.
Breaks. All right, let's get some additional takes on Wonka.
To summarize, I was not sure how I felt about the movie when I got out of it. Okay.
All right.
I was like, what? It's solid movie making, solid film making. You know, I had a good time while I was there, but do I like it? Is it one of the best of the year? Blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
My wife on the way home was like, who's in love with the first one, the original.
It's
Which
a type-
apparently this is a prequel too, by the way, not the Johnny Depp one.
Right.
This is a prequel to the original Gene Wilder version.
Right. The little more subversive
Yes.
version with
So
Gene
with-
Wilder. The
so-
great.
Yeah, the great Gene Wilder, that's right. So with that in mind, she was telling me all about how, like, well, this character doesn't make sense if it's a prequel because then he's like, that character can't go away because he's in the original and he's still around, and then she can't be from that family because then where does she go? And then so all of a sudden now I'm this is why we don't talk about films before we walk in here, by the way, okay? Because here I just have this noise coming at me, and now I'm second guessing everything that I'm saying. No, I know. So anyway, my bottom line is
Mrs. Gover was at the bulletin board with the strings,
Yes.
connecting stuff.
very much so. So my initial take is that I am not sure if I liked it, and I also don't understand why Timothée Chalamet got a Best Actor nom.
in some of the early
Not
awards.
saying he's bad,
people.
just
Okay.
saying that I was like, oh, this must be one hell of a performance if they're nominating him before its actual release date. That means
before they've seen it.
the screener advanced audiences are like, holy crap, this must be great. So I unfortunately went in with some expectations like he's going to blow me away.
Well, especially given with other movies that are out that will definitely receive best
That's
actor
what I'm
noms
saying.
when you
Like
compare.
like this year of all years, not that there's ever a slouch year, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Sure.
this year, you're like, okay, Cillian Murphy had this thing wrapped up in July or August, it seemed like. And then Jeffrey Wright comes along with American Fiction and blows it out.
Just
so you're like, okay,
kills
I can
it,
see an
yeah.
argument for him. Like there's a handful, and I'm sure there's like 5 others I'm
There's
missing.
a bunch.
There's a bunch.
But really? For walking, I don't know. It just didn't make sense. That's my initial take.
So maybe your take is a little bit more with the way the critics are heaping praise on
Which I am a
Timothy.
critic, so I'm like, oh, I should at least. I don't have to agree with everybody, and I certainly don't,
Right.
as Bradford could attest to. Hence the eyebrow. But I should at least be able to be like, okay, if it's 95% on Rotten Tomatoes, for example, I'm
I
not
get
saying
why
it
they're
is.
saying it kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I didn't see that, but I understand where you're coming from.
Right.
I don't get it on Timothée Chalamet in this particular project.
Okay, so he's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong.
no,
like
he's-
there's
he's
nothing wrong.
he's totally fine.
I think he did the character overall justice. I think they casted him well.
Yes.
To be kooky, whimsical. Overall, I enjoyed it. Is it film of the year for me? No, it's not.
No,
I think it
right.
accomplished what it was supposed to do as a fun family holiday film, or not holiday film, but
No.
a film to release around the holidays to give families something to go and see, to kind of give a little background view of Willy Wonka and how he came to be. Again, it's not movie of the year. It was fun. It was whimsical. Made me crave chocolate. It gave me some good heartwarming fuzzies as well with how they portrayed it.
I always
People were
crave chocolate.
I didn't know it was going to be a musical. I'm like, what? How, you didn't think there's going to be music in it? Like, what universe you live in to not think there's going to be music? And it's not a full musical. Like, there's some
Bradford,
ones that are,
I'm going to tell you, like, from the way they marketed this movie, it was not obvious it was a musical.
But that's true. But it's still Willy Wonka, and there's songs in the original. So why would there not be songs in this one?
True.
Like, that's my thing.
For some reason, I think movie studios this year have been holding back.
They have
in
been.
telling people that there's musical numbers in movies.
And that's the thing. This was musical number, not necessarily a full musical, right? Like, Color Purple is a musical, more so than this one. This one has 5 songs.
And they're also hiding the Color Purple's musicality as well.
Not as much now, and more of the, like, when you get closer release. But, for instance, Disney animation, right? A lot of them are considered musicals, even though they're not all sing-song. Like, Wish has, like, 5 songs in it. People consider it a musical, even though there's plenty of dialogue.
But so did Aladdin and Lion King.
Exactly. All of those have that. That's exactly what this is. There's plenty of music in the film, but it's not full musical. There's so much dialogue in this that it's not classified full musical. That's that's what it is. Anyways.
There's a spectrum.
Anyways.
Well, let me dive, just real quick.
Okay.
And let me just say that maybe we'll talk about this later. But for me, that's part of my problem with the film. It's not a problem like, oh, you shouldn't go see it. Not that kind of problem.
Right.
But a problem like me personally. Like I am not a musical guy, typically. On screen. Broadway, go see T-Pack here in Nashville. Of course. I get it. I'm going to a musical. I'm going to see the story played out through music and lyrics. When I go to a movie, it's very hard for me to get there. I can't do it. Usually. Okay. So because it was kind of half and half, like there was like early on it was musical, and then it went like 40 minutes without one, and then there's another one. Like that's a problem for me.
Interesting that's a problem. But anyways.
Yeah, I didn't feel that was a problem. Gover, I think you brought a lot of baggage to this movie. You did.
Unintentionally.
Okay.
Unintentionally.
So I brought like almost nothing to this movie.
Oh.
I guess the original Willy Wonka, I understand its iconic stature, and I love Gene Wilder. There is no other actor like him. So I mean, yes, it was great and everything, but I didn't hold any of that movie in me when I went to go see this version of Wonka with Timothée Chalamet and so many others, Olivia Colman and stuff. And I didn't know until a few minutes into the film when I heard somebody whisper, "Oh, it's the director of Paddington and Paddington 2," which I particularly find delightful. Mm-hmm. And I found Wonka just as delightful as I did those movies. I really enjoyed it. Timothée Chalamet didn't try to play a young Gene Wilder character, which I appreciate. He was, which I also think, is a character development thing. He's not the guy who goes crazy and wants to get rid of his chocolate factory. He's full of whimsy, optimism, enthusiasm, like nothing can bring him down.
Just wants to make his mom happy.
Yeah, which with an underused Sally Hawkins as his mom. But I really I was charmed by this movie. So
I was too. I got warm fuzzies.
I really, really had a great time and would have no problem showing this movie or going to this movie with anybody. Let's go a little. Let's go
negative. Oh no!
No,
Sorry.
I was going to say inside the mystery chocolate. You know how like you get the box of chocolates and you don't know what's inside. Let's find out what's inside. Is it one of those hard caramel that hurts your teeth, or is it one of those it's filled with cherries that taste like medicine? Let's see what we thought of Wonka in depth.
Okay.
Bradford's.
Which piece of chocolate are you grabbing, Bradford?
I'm grabbing the chocolate that would make me laugh every time it happened. It was just this small little side one whenever the word poor was mentioned. And you're like, whoa!
Hilarious.
That was funny.
That was so well timed and well written.
Really funny.
Happened, maybe 3 times?
Yeah.
Yes.
Like 1, 2, and then a huge distance.
Yes, and then boom again.
That was great.
They used it so well.
The 3 chocolatiers in the mob I thought were so incredibly well played and cast as just like that side comedic villain. I really enjoyed that because I think they played this out as more like a children's play and how it was casted, how it was written, the whimsical side, the Paddington thing. Yeah. Because you're making this movie accessible to children and adults too.
And I think that's what you need when you have like an adaptation of a Roald Dahl universe, you know?
Absolutely.
Like, you know, he wrote for children and beautifully.
And the comedy in here too had plenty of adult comedy, just like with Mrs. Scrubbit and then Mr. Lederhosen.
That was awesome.
That was just great. People were like, oh, my eyes! But it's that comedic moment, the comedic timing. I thought the comedy in this was so very well done and not overly forced to keep people just intrigued by it and to up the whimsical. Yes. I love the comedic elements of this, which is what gave me the warm fuzzies the whole time, was that it was comedy with heart.
Olivia Colman and her yellow teeth were just scene stealing. I just thought the whole concept of the indentured servitude, better read those terms of the contract, you know, like before you hit accept, was hilarious. And the way he was able to overcome that and, not... I had just seen It's a Wonderful Life, you know, with Potterville trying to keep everybody poor, and Jimmy Stewart's character, you know, just trying to, you know, everybody have a life of their own. I thought, wow, there's parallels in this movie, even though it was just a very silly parallel. I really enjoyed the old prison camp for kids.
Speaking of kids, I liked the young actress early and often. Yes. But there were a handful of scenes, maybe 3 or 4, that I was like, I bet she shot those first. Because she wasn't in the character yet, almost learning how to act. It was a different level, and it regressed. But it was, you know, as we all know, movies are shot chronologically, right?
Those of you that had just after the 10-minute mark when Gover would attack the child actor.
I didn't have to prompt it this time.
I know.
I was going to ask. No. And he just went ahead and brought her right up.
No need to ask. So I thought she's not going to be on my Music City Film Critics Association ballot for Best Actress, Best Young Actress, but she did not detract from the movie, again, except for a handful of things. But, again, nitpicky, and I even know that.
Okay. I just want to be in his brain sometime where it's like, kid sucks. In his head.
There were certain scenes, Bradford, that were not solid.
He didn't deny it.
We're letting you go. We're cutting you loose.
Like, I can't imagine watching this movie and be like, nah, she was awful in that scene.
You can't?
No, because I'm watching the whole movie.
We're supposed to watch a movie with the critic's eye of like, what could be done better, what could be done different, what is...
Like, but that's not detracting from the movie for me.
I didn't see a problem with her.
Okay. I didn't see
she
a problem
didn't stand out.
That's fair. No,
she didn't stand out.
Just remember,
there's been worse.
Just remember, parents, Gover hates kids.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Kids. Yeah.
I think this movie was very well cast. Obviously, Timothée Chalamet. It's his world. We're living in it right now, and that's probably why they gave him awards before they even got to see the movie, because everybody loves him so much.
Look, Dune couldn't come out, so here's this little nugget.
Right.
Drip, water, splash.
I was thinking more of the morphine drip of Timothée Chalamet coming in right to your veins.
There's also that.
There was, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean, what little time he got, he made the most of it. I really enjoyed that. The only characters that maybe in the casting that didn't live up to my expectations of the rest of the movie, didn't match everybody else's performance. I was a little disappointed in Keegan-Michael Key's Inspector.
Really?
Who keeps getting bought off. I like the storyline. I don't know. I usually like him. I just, there was something, he was off from the rest of the cast.
How so?
There's a way of playing cartoony and a goofy. Obviously, he's, the guy who's going to be set up for, he keeps getting fatter because he keeps getting bought off with chocolate bribes. The comedy was easy. Maybe he just overplayed it, like, just let it be.
Interesting. I didn't have a problem with him at all. I thought he actually supplied a really good dose of comedy whenever he was on the screen, but it wasn't so overdone, I didn't think.
Okay.
Am I just like missing stuff for you guys, like hot taking here? With the kid and Keegan-Michael Key.
The kid is not, dude. How long have we had this show? We're going on 70 episodes here.
It's still a hot
If you don't know that I'm banging on kid actors, you got a real problem.
Episode 1, you attack the kids.
Yeah. Episode 2 was Jurassic Park, by the way, and that was the one that I threw down the gauntlet on the kid actors.
Master Skywalker, what did you do?
Not strong either, by the way, just so you know.
Yeah.
In the movie, our Oompa Loompa, played by Hugh Grant.
I wanted more. I wanted just a little bit more. Not a lot more, but a little bit more.
I think the character, didn't get a whole lot of screen time, and when it was there, it was like a little bit of like jammed into the movie.
I didn't think it needed to be Hugh Grant until, I have no idea why. The scene on the boat where he's reclining his seat.
Oh, it was great.
That was really funny. But
his facial expressions was Hugh Grant.
Yes,
he
right,
plays
for sure.
Yeah.
But when he breaks in and all that, I'm like, it's just fun that it's Hugh Grant. It doesn't need to be Hugh Grant. It can be anybody.
Right.
But then again,
I know they had to do this. Can you imagine going to see the movie and not having that revealed in the trailer that it was Hugh Grant? Can you imagine if all of a sudden our first impression of an Oompa Loompa and all of a sudden like, holy crap, it's Hugh Grant?
That would have been awesome.
Would have been awesome. I know why they couldn't do it.
Yeah, they couldn't.
But they could have just shown the back of a head or something like that.
Not like Bill Murray.
Right.
In
Guardians
Love and Thunder.
Or Guardians of the Galaxy 3, right?
No, it was
Ant-Man Quantumania. Holy crap,
It's one of those Marvel
guys.
movies that was kind of mediocre.
Oh my God.
Okay, hold on. That's not like Bill Murray in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's not like that.
Showing
that one they absolutely should have kept.
They should have kept. Yes.
Under wraps. Hey, that'll be a big surprise. But this one, I totally get it.
So especially because this is prequel, in terms of getting back to the Oompa Loompa side of things, yes, they ended on okay terms, things like that. I would have loved even a tease, even if it was in the credits where they're rolling some things here and there of how a partnership was going to develop. Even just a tease of the partnership for the future of all the Oompa Loompas coming to work with Willy Wonka in the factory.
They did kind of, though, didn't they?
Not enough.
He struck a deal with him.
But not to where it's like this is leading into why all of them would migrate there to come and work with him.
Okay.
I'm not saying I needed a lot. I needed just a small tease would have been fulfilling. It didn't ruin the story or anything like that. Just a little more fulfillment on the Oompa Loompa line. Maybe I would have liked to have seen.
Maybe
that's awfully selfish.
They might put that in like, hey, if this does great and we could do another one, we're going to get into the the contract that they agree to, after maybe a strike with the Oompa Loompas,
So Wonka 2 Oompa Loompas unionize?
I do have a question, actually. This is like a joke.
I'm buying that.
But I do have a question. Do we want to see a second one?
No.
That would bridge the two.
Nope.
All of a sudden, that's a trilogy now?
Nope. Right now, that's a no.
That's a no.
But maybe in a few years, I would.
Well, no, I'm not saying next year, but,
right now, I don't. I say no.
I say no, but I could be swayed to yes if they do it right.
Okay.
Like, I'm always curious about what they do. Like, I thought this one overall was pretty well done because it turned out to be like a caper story, too, of how they're going to accomplish this, how they're going to break in, how they're going to do all these. It's a kind of a caper crime mob story, which I really appreciated in terms of storytelling. If they do it right, then sure, yeah. But right now, no, I'm good. I don't need it.
You're satisfied.
I'm satisfied.
Okay.
Right.
I think of the things that my wife said about how this character doesn't connect with this and that doesn't make any sense. And then why is he still around? And then she shouldn't be his niece because then where did she go? And like all these things, those questions could be answered if there was a second one. And I was like, but why would you need a second one? And then I started thinking about it. It's like, oh, that'd be kind of neat if they made the original the last of the trilogy. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
We haven't really seen that before, I don't think.
Maybe you see Timothée Chalamet slightly getting more demented.
Yes. Like, there's a story to be told there, is what I'm saying.
There is. But is there going to be is there going to be the demand for that?
I don't know. I think your wife
plenty
really.
Of movies that are coming out. Aquaman
you're
100%
correct.
It's not necessary.
You're 100% correct in that. That's why I say I could be swayed that if they do the story right, then I could be totally swayed to a yes because, I am curious now. You've intrigued me to bridge the gap.
Well, thank you, but I will also say that a lot of things we could sit here and be like, well, if they get it right.
True.
100%.
I mean,
that's a little bit of
that's how Hollywood works.
It's kind of a cop-out. Yeah.
It's true. If Hollywood gets it right,
I hate it until it was great.
Right.
Until it made a lot of money. Yeah.
I thought it was an incredible movie, fantastical, probably this way, a fantastical movie for the family to watch. I thought it was, I really enjoyed myself in the theater. I didn't have the baggage of the Johnny Depp or the Gene Wilder versions because I haven't seen them in years. And I think the Gene Wilder one, I probably haven't seen for maybe 2 decades. I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched it. But this movie was good enough, I'll put it that way. This movie was good enough to where I want to now go watch it. As opposed to like, I've had enough. Like, it's more like, let's see how
Gover wants to go deeper.
Yeah, that's a compliment, right? So, again, I talked about the young actress. 90% of the time, great. The other 10%, not great. But sorry, I'm giving my score here. So this is what I'm summing it up.
I know.
So the music was again okay. So the music, great. The music in the car, if I'm listening to it, comes on in the car. If I'm on a friend's car or house and they're playing it for their kid, I'm tapping my feet. I found myself in the theater tapping my feet or like hitting my knee or whatever it was, like to the beat. I thought all the songs were great. Okay, but again, not a musical guy. As the music comes on,
did you hate yourself for tapping?
Maybe not early, because early it's the opening scene is him on top of that mast or whatever, and he's singing. Okay, totally fine. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's when it goes away from music to tell the story. So now all of a sudden it's like a real movie for like a normal movie for like 35, 40 minutes, and then another musical number comes in.
I just imagine Gover eating his popcorn during that 35, 40 minutes. Like, oh yeah, I'm vibing.
I am.
Musical?
Because look,
it's done. This is great again.
I have a hard time where I'm watching this character and everything's down and out, and he's not depressed, but this girl he's with is depressed, and she's like, well, life never gets any better, and he's the eternal optimist. And all of a sudden he stands on a peach box and breaks out in song. It doesn't make any sense. It's not. I was
expecting him to do
real.
Arabian Nights.
It's not real. It's not real. It separates me from the. I was invested in the plight of the characters, and then he breaks out in a musical number.
What did you think of La La Land?
Oh my God, you were just.
It's
overrated.
Was
just thinking of La La Land.
Overrated.
I love La La Land.
It's overrated.
So Jim, you want to start a podcast?
You need me on
we talk about the best child actors.
You need someone to hate children.
And song.
It's called Perfect Balance, like Thanos wanted.
Wonka, I give a 7.0. I enjoyed it while I was in the theater.
Well, that's a pretty good score for
there's enough there that I'm like, yeah, I mean, I would go see it again if somebody wanted to go see it. That'd be totally fine.
Okay.
But overall, there's just certain things that I'm like, I can't put it up in the top of the list for the year. I just can't do it.
Okay.
So 7.0 for me.
All right. There's that temptation near award season and wrapping up and looking back at the year. You're measuring it against the best of the year. Maybe you didn't, if it came out in February, would be totally different. I don't know.
I would like to believe that's not the case because I do try to look at everything evenly. But yes, I will admit that if you're saving something, you're a studio and you're saving something for December, unless you're Aquaman, that looks like we're saving it for award season. I thought that last year about the Whitney Houston biopic.
Right.
I thought, holy crap, they saved this till Christmas. It's gonna be awesome.
I think this one, they're saving it for when families have time to go watch. Like, this could also be a Thanksgiving release.
Yeah.
It would have been fine.
Yep.
Christmas release, totally fine. I feel like that's what this was, because it would have been, I felt awkward. It would be awkward in the summer. It does not feel like a good, like, you don't need a warm fuzzy in the summer as much as you need when it's colder out for the family.
Okay. That's my overthinking it, but all right.
Yes, I totally am. I'm just thinking from a marketing perspective.
Bradford, this is part of your score. So why don't you just like segue right into that and tell us even more.
I love how you lean right in, Jim.
That's
great. Thank
I
you.
try to make my guests comfortable.
So look. Delilah.
You're a guest now. I just want you to catch that.
Thanks.
You're all guests in my universe.
Wow. Okay. I enjoyed it. It gave me warm fuzzies. I liked the music. I liked the acting overall. It was very well cast. I was laughing through it. Good feeling in the heart throughout it. People in the theater seemed to enjoy it. They were laughing. They were into it. They just were enjoying themselves. I saw families smiling coming out of it. The timing of it, I think, was more purposely done on knowing when they could do well at the box office compared to award season. I think that's my initial take.
Right.
Is that, to me, there's not much award worthy when you compare it to the rest of the movies this year.
I agree.
But box office wise, you release in the holidays, it has an opportunity to make an impact in that way, which I think is more important for this movie compared to awards that they wanted to do well at the box office. People are out of school, they're looking for a safe, fun family film for everyone to enjoy. This is one of those. You can bring the whole family to this. Someone will get something out of it and should be able to enjoy it. That's great. We need movies like that. The box office needs those types of movies that a family of 4 or 5 can go and enjoy.
People's moods need these movies.
They need that. They need whimsical. They need fun. They need fantasy. Things that you can go and just forget about the stress of life or the stress of the holidays even and go and enjoy it. This is that kind of movie. It delivers what I think it needed to deliver in a very good way because you think happy thoughts when you come out of it. And I was really craving chocolate. I've had a lot of chocolate since seeing this movie. Because it's just, I need it. I give it an 8.0.
Okay.
All right. Well, Jim, the critic, also really loves, believe it or not, a safe, fun family film. That used to make me want to run to the hills if I heard something described that way. But again, when it's done right. And it's the people that did Paddington, which I discovered late. And I'm mad that I won't get the years back that I missed out on that movie. Like, those movies just charm the hell out of me. This one does the exact same thing as, just, I think, standing on its own. And you can just walk in knowing nothing and completely enjoy it. And I think a lot of people are going to be in that boat. There's going to be some who are going to be like trying to connect the dots with the original Willy Wonka. I don't even want to talk about the Johnny Depp one. Like, just, this movie can be enjoyed for what it is. Everybody did a good job. There's nobody's going to win an award here in my book, but they all did it really well. So I'm giving Wonka also an 8.0. Solid.
You said people connecting the dots, and they might do that in this between you. If that's not the point of this, why call it a prequel? Why not just let it be its own thing?
I think they did just kind of let it be its own thing.
They call it a prequel, right?
They haven't really marketed it as a prequel.
I don't remember seeing anything from the movie company calling it that. Maybe other people talking about it. The buzz on the street was a prequel. I heard more of why do they need to go back to this? And I think that's the reaction from the Johnny Depp film, that we don't need a Tim Burton. I mean, I think that left a lot of people kind of bitter chocolate. And dark and bitter chocolate.
And when you look at comment sections, when you look at comment sections about the film, there are so many people saying, why are they doing another one? Are there not any original ideas? Why are they doing another one? Why are they doing another one? It has not been clear that it's a prequel. They've been very, very bad at advertising that it is before the Gene Wilder version. There are so many people out there that think this is another remake, like a full-on remake of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They're thinking that.
I said it as a mistake at the beginning of the episode.
And you would think that if it was a remake, they would have teased Charlie somewhere. And they didn't. This is...
No, because Charlie is barely a fetus at this point.
Well, no. If it was a remake, they would have teased Charlie
I see
somewhere.
What you're saying.
But it's not. This is the prequel. This is how Wonka became Wonka, which is what they've kind of teased but not done a good job at it. Marketing for movies has been really frustrating for me these past 2 years.
Yeah.
Because it feels like you have these experts and they're just not doing a good job of feeding the audience just enough to let them know you need to see this because.
Right. COVID made everybody stupid, apparently. Because I didn't really have a problem. I mean, there's, a few things here and there, of course, right? Like you go all the way back to Space Invaders, where they showed you all the scenes in the preview, none of which were in the movie, right? So you go all the way back. I mean, this is not a new problem, but it seems to be a pattern. Since COVID happened, marketing seems to be a massive problem,
right?
And COVID made marketers stupid, apparently.
It's a mess.
Yes, thank you for specifying, because America didn't get stupid.
No.
The marketers. Yeah, we've always been whatever you want to call it, but the marketers got really bad at their job. It's time for our big question. Sometimes it's deep, sometimes it's ridiculous. So I'm going to say take a movie from the past that was not a musical and pitch a musical version of that movie.
Who wants to go first?
I will.
Oh, okay.
Bradford says,
the bit over here.
pick me.
Yes. I'm in my pick me phase. Okay. Fast and Furious. No. It was teased within the movie, but it obviously was not a thing. I want Spaceballs the musical.
Okay.
What?
You just took mine.
Oh, no. Did I?
Yep.
So we have two.
Surely nobody's going to say Spaceballs.
Spaceballs the musical. Come on, right? Come on.
All right, hold on.
So, but it was good enough that you also thought of it.
It is. Oh, no. Great idea.
It was a good idea.
Great idea.
Jim just over here laughing. What do you think, Jim?
Well, I hate to tell you this, but you have to go next because now I got to think.
Yeah, I don't have
I want a full song of She's Gone From Suck to Blow.
I bet you could find that.
On the wrong websites.
That's right. Do that in a private tab.
I want
your browser
theme. That's what I want.
John Williams to write it.
Bartholomew. Okay. John Williams to write it.
That Spaceballs is one of those weird movies that it's definitely stuck in a time, and I love a Mel Brooks film, but I feel the musical is unnecessary.
It's an unnecessary question then, Jim.
Yes, it is. It truly is. So I hold you to no standard because mine is going to suck too.
Okay.
I would like Saw the musical. No, and I would not market it. If we're going to go with like the Willy Wonka people and the Color Purple marketers, you don't sell it as a musical. You just surprise people with it, and they're horrified awesome, for all the wrong reasons.
Like how the next Joker is apparently all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean,
a horror musical.
Yes, I think we're long overdue.
A horror musical.
Okay.
Horror. Make sure you say all the syllables, because then it's a completely different film.
Horror musical. Horror.
Thank you for checking out the Untitled Film Project Podcast.
I guess there go Spaceballs, man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'd love to get creative and come up with another one, but that's...
I'm the non-Spaceballs guy, Jim Chandler.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello.
Bradford blurted out Spaceballs first. His name is Justin B. Bradford. And Jeremy Gover.
What up?
He hates children.
Thank you for listening to the Untitled Film Project Podcast. To support the show, please rate, review, follow, and subscribe. Original music by Jeremy Schwartz. Special thanks to the Music City Film Critics Association. Editing and post-production by Jeremy K. Gover. Voiceover by Chad Bennett.